What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and it is time to react to your comments once again. And once again, you guys have been unbelievable in the comments. Well, I say unbelievable. You've been interacting with the show. Let's put it that way. No, but I appreciate all the love that you've, or not so much love that you've shown us over the past week. But yeah, Sim's picked out a lot of comments to go through, so let's get into them.
All right, so we'll start with Michael Cody 828 says, that thick Sim is at it again. One win, and they think this is a good side. Jesus, wake up, lose the next game against Ipswich, back to being Spursy again. Smiley face. Thanks for that, Michael. I never said it was a good. I don't think I ever said it was a good performance against United. I said it was better than before, which it was, but I also said it wasn't a performance that's going to convince anyone. I realised that. I just think,
to be honest, I was tuning in to the fan show on my way back from the game. I think it was, on my way back from the game.
You're going to bring up when I spoke to Barry?
Maybe it was Barry. You were sitting there in your chair like the whole world has come back together. And basically, you've been
stars are aligning.
Fully vindicated. Stars are aligning. Everything that you've been saying over the past month or two has been completely proved right.
No, that's not what I believe. That's not what I believe based off that performance. But there are signs. The guys, there are signs. All right, get with the program. Obviously, I was winding up Barry for sure. I never missed an opportunity to wind Barry up. But I think there are definitely signs that things could start to turn. But I don't think that was conclusive evidence. I'd agree with that. I agree. If we lose to Ipswich next week on Saturday, then yeah, people are going to get on our back again, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said it a number of times now, but this is the time, isn't it? Now the players are coming back. 5 new players, well, it seems like new players, but 5 players back from injury in the squad on the weekend, made a big impact. Even the players coming off the bench made an impact. So we need to see us go on a bit of a consistent run now. And then, I think a lot of the Ange naysayers, if including myself, if we can go on a run from now to the end of the season, then people won't have a choice but to back him going into next season.
Nathan Newman 799 says, a 1-0 tap-in at home versus an awful Man United, and Sim thinks we have won a trophy. I wouldn't go that far.
Sim was running around the studio off air after this, being like, come on!
First time since the 20s we've done the treble over Man United in a single season. Yeah. So that's not worth a trophy. I don't know what is. I was happy we won, of course. I don't think the performance was amazing. I did think we were better than Man United, and I think, there were some elements like the pressing, the energy, much better, and finally we had a squad, but still a lot to be done, I think, between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, look, it wasn't a great performance by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't vintage Ange ball or anything like that, but it was just nice to see us getting 3 points.
Martin Kingdon V6I says, Sim really is either playing the role hard now or even more scary, actually that deluded, which isn't okay. What have I said? I don't know what I've said that's caused such uproar, but I think, why can't I be happy that we won? That's what's wrong with that.
You know what it is? I think you do believe what you say, and I think you think I believe what I say. But I think what the reality is going into this situation, and why we argue so much, and why there's so much of this stuff on this channel. I feel like, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I feel. I feel that whenever anyone has any sort of criticism towards Ange, you basically back it up like someone's going in on you, basically. So you take it, you don't take it personally, but it's like that kind of same vibe to it. And I feel like because you're like that and go so strong that way, it makes me more negative the other way. And because I'm so negative the other way, it makes you so strong going the other way.
I just think...
do you not feel that, though?
Maybe. I have to watch back some of my videos, but I think that might be the case. I also feel like there's a lot of narratives surrounding Ange, and a lot of people parroting the same things, parroting what they hear in the media, parroting certain points of view. And I feel like when they get brought up, I think people think these narratives are fact and all these things. And I just try to add more context. I try to see the other side. I try to sometimes rail against things which I don't think are true. And if it means people feel like I'm always defending Ange. I don't. I acknowledge he's made mistakes. He's not perfect, and a lot of the reason we are where we are, of course, he has a big part to play in that as well. I don't deny any of that, but I also feel like I also feel like a lot of these narratives are not true, and I feel like really people like to pile in on Ange. When there's a pile on, everyone wants to get their kicks in, and I feel, and if there's no one there to kind of give the opposite side of point of view, it could become a bit of an echo chamber, and it could become a bit of a bubble where everyone thinks one thing is true. Well, actually, there is another side to the story with a lot of these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about saying what you think is actually reality, and you know, a lot of the times when you talk about the flaws of Ange, you always kind of back it up with an excuse. I think that's what a lot of people might feel.
Maybe, but I just give the other side to the story. I give the other side to the argument, which I think is always good to give. And there's always good to see both sides rather than just everyone pounding on one side. And I feel like, look, Ange's gotten enough criticism, and I'm happy to criticize. I'm not happy to criticize him, but I'm happy for him to be criticized if I think it's deserved or warranted. But also I feel like when there's a pile on and people constantly hammering certain narratives, which I don't sometimes think are true, I think it's important to give a bit of pushback on some of them. Danny Foster 6848 says, this is genuinely the last video I watch with Ben. I can't take it anymore. Sim should go alone. Ben should just do a show with Brian. Let all the people who like throwing their toys out the pram have that show, and the rest of us can watch Sim and listen to the level-headed chat with a bit of actual perspective. Ben, we could have lost. We could have also won 4-0. It's nice to see that as we get our players back, back form is improving, and we now have back-to-back wins and clean sheets. I can't wait for Ange Outlot to be proven wrong. You lost the last video they watched with you, Ben.
I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him what he wants. I'm leaving.
That's it.
I'm calling.
Get out of here.
I'm calling Daigle.
Yeah, you're starting a show with Daigle.
I'm calling him.
We are Toys Out the Pram TV.
If he doesn't answer, then I'm staying.
Bro, he never ever doesn't pick up, Brian. Surely. It's over.
Sorry, it looks like you're going to be stuck with me for a bit longer. You're going to be stuck with me for a bit longer. Daigle doesn't want it. Oh well.
He'll call back. He'll always call back. He always calls back.
It's just whether we're on the show or not. Oh well. Look, you could have had what you wanted if Daigle picked up, but unfortunately didn't. So
it's all Brian's fault.
I'm going to be here for a bit longer.
What do you think? He says you and Brian just throw your toys out the pram all the time.
Maybe. You know, there is a bit of an element to that. I'm not going to lie.
There's a lot of toys to throw, to be fair.
Exactly, a lot of toys to throw, especially with me having a kid right now. I've got even more toys to throw out the pram. But look, the reality is I get very frustrated when my club is not in a good way. And yeah, I always start the day being positive, being like Spurs can win this and that. And then I get it all thrown back in my face. So it is what it is.
All right. So Danny, it's been nice having you because Ben is going to be staying. So if so, it looks like we're losing you.
Danny ain't going nowhere.
He says it. He's probably throwing his toys out the pram.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing. Mark Edwards 6437 says Ben has painted himself into a corner. Now he feels the need to throw shade and negativity over a great win. Pull your bloody head in and enjoy the ride. It was a great win, Ben. Why do you have to pour your negativity over it?
It was an unbelievable win, and I don't even think I was being overly negative. This is from the fan show.
I think from the calling from the fan show.
But what did I say that was overly negative? I said that
so much negativity over it.
I said that if a better team, if we were coming up against a better team, they would have put away those chances. Is that actually
pouring
that
so
was completely
much?
Right. I was coming on. I remember actually you were like, "Wow, Ben, you're smiling."
We haven't seen that smile in many weeks. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one. Brahine 4824 says Sim. Could you take Neto on a free? Ben, no, he's too injury prone. Fabrizio, Neto to Chelsea, here we go. Ben, this club has no ambition. We could have gone for Neto.
And you know what? Neto's been crap for Chelsea.
He has been terrible.
So, yeah, mad on you all. But look, that was the kind of conversation. But the reason I said about Spurs having no ambition is because the manager wanted Neto. Excuse me. Regardless if I wanted Neto or not, I think is besides the point. The point is that we should be giving the manager what he wants. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, fair. Funnily enough, he has stayed injury-free since he's gone to Chelsea, but he's just been bad since he's been there, which is quite ironic. Daniel's Key 9040 says disgusting views and digging Kinski out. Yes, he made a mistake for Villa, but he also made some great saves, which ultimately kept the score as low as it was. Also, Vicario has come back in that same time as other first teamers and on the back of a good rest, whereas Kinski has stepped in a more vulnerable situation. Yes, praise Vicario. It's great to have him back, but don't dig Kinski out at the same time.
When did we dig Kinski out?
I'm guessing we were saying it's because it was so great to have Vicario back, and maybe because we were outlining some of the mistakes Kinski made.
That's not digging Kinski out. He's a young goalkeeper that's going to make mistakes. It's fair enough. I think we've praised him a lot on this channel.
Definitely, but I think you can't deny. He did make a mistake against Arsenal, did make a mistake against Villa, and also Liverpool, Anfield in the second leg. He was pretty poor as well. So you can't just deny that those things happen just because he's done well since he's come in. Yes, I don't think our downfall is because Kinski's been in goal, but I also think you can see the difference when Vicario comes in and just has that ability to have those shots rain down in on him and be able to cope with them pretty comfortably, whereas Kinski had a few shaky moments with those shots.
The reality is Vicario is our number one goalkeeper. We missed him a lot in this period when he's been out, not only for his goalkeeping ability but also because of his leadership ability, and we're just delighted to have him back, and I think that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Tail and Camping with Nat and Jay. This I don't know who they are, but fair play to them. Thanks for commenting. They said, people saying Ange only playing Spence because of injuries is bollocks. Several managers didn't rate Jed and had him out on loan. Ange was the first manager to keep him around for a full off season and have a good look at him. Would have been easy to send him off again, but no, he obviously saw something and kept him around. There were weaknesses to Jed's defensive game that Conte, etc., didn't bother fixing. He had lapses in concentration, was positionally naive, and his passing was often erratic. That has improved massively this season, and I put that down to Ange and his coaches. Ange is also giving Jed the freedom to play in a style and formation that suits his game. Have a look at the error Jed made just before half-time in the Chelsea game where he cost us a goal, as to why Ange might have thought he wasn't ready yet, compared to now when he's picking his times to press and bomb on, which much more wisely. Fans forget that managers see weaknesses in training that we don't get exposed to, so instead of moaning about Ange not playing him, I prefer to praise him for not only keeping him with us this season, but also improving him.
Okay, I think there's a lot. There are some elements to that are right, I'm not going to lie, but there are a lot of elements to that are wrong. And in terms of it was up to Ange to keep him around this season, I mean, we nearly sold him. And, he had that option for Genoa. And I know that the option had nothing to do with Ange, that was to do with the club. But he was nearly sold this summer. And if Genoa put the money up and stumped up the money on the table, he would have been gone. That's the reality. And so the club were actively looking to sell him in the summer. Ange took a look at him in pre-season. He was brilliant through pre-season. And in the small amount of game time that he got before the injuries happened, he actually performed really well. He got left out of the European squad for no real apparent reason to favour the likes of Fraser Forster when you've got someone like Brandon Austin there as well, who as well Ange would have seen Brandon Austin week in, week out, or day in, day out in training. There was no reason to leave Jed Spence out the European squad when you're looking at the lack of depth in our fullback options. There was literally no reason for it whatsoever. And when you say that, Spence... Oh, here's Brian. Here's Brian. 1 second. Brian?
Yo.
So, basically... We're recording a comments video at the moment. We're recording right this second. And
Okay, sorry for interrupting you.
No, I called you on the show because we've got a comment here that says that this is genuinely the last video I watched with Ben. I can't take it anymore. Sim should go alone and Ben should just do a show with Brian. Let all the people that just like throwing their toys out the pram have their own show. What do you reckon? Shall we go solo? Or shall we take it just us two?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would love to do a show just you and me, or just you and me and Sim, or the three of us.
No. The option isn't you and Sim. The option isn't you and Sim.
All the only level-headed fans get to watch my show.
Okay, listen.
We're not in the car. We're recording a stream. Right, we're recording right now.
It's called Toys Out the Pram TV.
Am I live right now?
Yeah, right now you're live.
I'm live on We Are Tottenham TV. So if I go onto We Are Tottenham TV,
No, we're not live.
now-
We're not live. We're just recording.
Oh, we're just recording. Of course, you and me should go solo, buddy.
So we're gonna leave We Are Tottenham TV. We're not gonna have anything to do with it because what's his name?
Danny Foster.
Danny Foster don't want to see me on here no more. He don't want to see you on here no more either.
Do you know what? As Danny Foster has said so, and obviously the masses are with the Danny. What nonsense.
All right.
What nonsense.
Well, that's that then. See you later, guys.
All right. Go subscribe to Toys Out the Pram TV, and I'm sure show Ben some love. I'm sure he will love it.
I'll see you later, Brian.
He's back.
I'm not going anywhere.
You can't keep him away.
Going nowhere. But where were we with Jed Spence?
Yeah. So you saying does Ange deserve any credit for how he's improved this season?
I think. Look. I think what he's saying about him not having a proper go until the injuries is rubbish because I think that is the only reason he's been given a proper go.
In terms of
But I think
week in, week out.
Ange, yeah,
Yeah.
that is only because of injuries. And so, I mean, he said that it's not just because of injuries that he's been given a go. It is because of only injuries that he's been given a go. And in terms of, I think, what he's got best out of Spence is I think just the system suits him very well. And he probably had a good part in terms of getting his head screwed on better. But I think his head, started to get screwed on a bit better at Genoa. I think that was the starting block. And Ange has obviously helped that. But, he could have been implemented in the season a lot earlier and maybe kind of given some of our fullbacks a bit of rest in the first half of the season.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people have definitely said that. And I think that's a fair comment. But I also think the level that Jed's playing at the moment, he's one of the most informed fullbacks in the league currently.
Yeah.
And, Ange is the one to get that out of him. No one else has really been able to. And does he not deserve credit when a lot of other managers have completely discarded him? A lot of other managers have sent him out on loan. Even the loan managers have said this guy doesn't have an attitude, has an attitude problem. He's arriving late to training. I don't want him in the squad. And so Ange, whatever you want to say about could he been integrated earlier, the level we're seeing at him at the moment, and the fact that he's all of a sudden become a top fullback in at Premier League level. Does Ange not deserve a lot of credit for that? Whereas a lot of managers, will have discarded him completely.
Yeah, but the point is that would we be seeing him on the pitch at all? Like, if we didn't get these injuries, would we even be seeing him?
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. But what we've seen is that before the injuries came, he weren't getting a look in at all.
He was getting some minutes.
Hardly. He was
got
getting
45 minutes at Old Trafford.
Okay, that was because of an injury.
Yeah. Got 45 minutes at Coventry, where he scored.
Yeah.
I'm saying, look, it wasn't enough. We would like to see him more, but he was getting some minutes. He came
Only
on
because of injury.
In the first two games, he came off the bench. The first 2 games of the season.
The last couple of minutes in the game.
For a few minutes.
Like, he wasn't getting this significant look in apart unless it was from injury. Like, we weren't he wasn't in the kind of rotation thinking when he should have been. So, look, he gets credit for Spence being at this level at this current moment in time, no doubt about it. But I think it's more fallen on his lap as well. There's an element to it falling on his lap because he wouldn't have been given the minutes, any sort of significant minutes, unless there were injuries.
Maybe, or maybe he would have started at the second half of the season getting more minutes. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to know, but obviously the injuries forced his hand and he had to play him because we had, I think, a doggy got injured or whatever. But I also think you got to give him credit for getting this kind of level out of Spence and getting his level screwed on.
Why wasn't he in the European squad? I know you're going to go to Actor Forster and he thinks Brandon Austin, but with the lack of options at fullback, with your competent fullback there that can have a rotation option, particularly playing in these Europa League games, like, what was the plan for Spence? What was the plan for Spence at the beginning of the season?
I don't know, but didn't he give him a new contract before he broke into the team?
Yeah, I don't know. Does that come from Ange or does that come from Levy to bring a?
I'm sure if Ange,
value?
I'm sure if Ange, didn't want him, he would have said, don't give him a contract. But he gave him. They decided to give him a contract.
You say that, but we signed Jed Spence, and Conte clearly didn't want him when we signed him.
Yes, but I'm saying that's different. He's been here now for how long? 2-3 years, and no managers fancied him. We've seen in the past, right? Players with attitude problems, and we're not just going to give him a contract just because we want to highlight. Look at Ndombele, we were willing to let him go, and we're in a state now where we're looking to refresh the squad and we're looking for players with the right attitude. So if Spence didn't have that right attitude, I don't think Spurs are giving him a new contract. But I'm sure Ange's input probably helped him to get that new contract. That was before he broke into the team.
So if he did have the right attitude, and Ange did, feel like there's a future there for Spence, why wasn't he in the Europa League squad? And why wasn't he being given significant minutes in the first half of the season?
It's all well and good having the right attitude, but you've got to prove it over a significant period to earn the trust of the management.
Not given a chance.
He has to do it in training, which clearly that was what he was doing, and that's why he got his opportunity to go with both hands. But this is
why he got his opportunity. He's got his opportunity because of injuries. That's why.
That's why he got stayed around, because he had a good attitude. Is
Correct.
My point, right? So it's not just because you got a good attitude on pre-season, and maybe Andrew was looking at the situation thinking, I'm going to see if he can consistently have that good attitude even when he's not being picked, and he can prove that he has really changed, rather than a pre-season where he's just playing well to kind of get in the team, and maybe he might revert to type like we've seen with other players.
So what you're saying is that Ange was basically knowingly knocking him just to see if he'll come through the other
I don't think
end.
it was knowingly knocking him, but I think when you've had a succession of problems with a series of managers, you have to prove that you really have changed your attitude.
So you're saying he was testing him to prove his attitude has actually
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised, right, if Ange is looking at him and yes, right now he's showing he's got a good attitude, but he's got to prove it over a sustained period of time, not just a few weeks in pre-season. And that's also not a completely unfair thing to do when he's had big problems with other managers, with timekeeping and all these other things, right? And I think that's also a fair assessment from Ange, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that totally, but I just look at when you have such small amount of numbers, particularly in the fullback areas, and you have someone like Spence, and he showed what he did in pre-season, and he showed what he can do in the games that he's come on in. He saved us in the Carabao Cup against Coventry. He had a really good performance when he came on in that second half against Manchester United. In the small little cameos that he had as well in the first half of the season, he did really well. But then he just kept getting cast aside.
Yeah, unfortunately, those obviously came after the Europa League squad were announced, so you can't change it then. I think it was a mistake to leave him out of the Europa League squad, and the fact that he's in and we haven't even put Kinski or Forster in is probably acknowledgement from Ange that was probably a mistake at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, he made a mistake. User of 4SD1 RM8R says, to be fair to Levy, and I'm not his fan, he is there attending every home and away match. How many chairmen do the same? Most are not even in the country.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's hard to attend a game home and away if you're not even in the country and if you don't live in this country. So, I mean, I'm not sure what he's trying to say. I don't know why it's like a credit to Levy for being at the games. He's a micromanager. Of course he's going to be at the games.
He's watching over. Do you reckon he's giving Ange tactical advice?
Yeah, it probably is.
Well, I'm guessing the argument is it shows that he kind of cares more than these other chairmen who sometimes don't even attend and aren't bothered about going, whereas Levy showed that he does, he's there every week. He really does care about, whether the team win or not. I guess the argument.
I just think that, he enjoys being wined and dined in an unbelievable football stadium in that he built. He loves being around it.
But he was at White Hart Lane as well. He used to go to every game.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he actually goes a lot more now than he used to. I mean, he was there a lot of White Hart Lane as well. But the reality is he's a massive micromanager, Daniel Levy, and we know that for a fact.
Okay, fair enough. Mark Stir 86 says, agree or disagree? You got to give Sim credit for his ride or die loyalty.
Absolutely. You've got to
All
give him
right,
a lot of
credit.
credit.
Whether it's right or wrong. I don't know if it's. I don't know. It's not about ride or die. It's just about
exactly what it's about.
No, it's not. It's not about ride or die.
Exactly what it's about.
It's not. I mean, I'm not loyal to Ange. I just think at the moment I understand the situation we're going through, and I understand the difficulty he's having at the moment. And I don't think it's all down to him. And I think he should be given that time to prove he can turn it around. That's all I've been saying. And he should be getting to the end of the season. It's not about, you know, being blindly loyal or anything like that, or thinking he's definitely the guy. I just think I've been very consistent about that opinion, and I think we assess it at the end of the season and see where we are at that point. And do I think there's evidence he can turn it around? And do I think there's evidence when he does have options to pick from, we can be a good team? I think there is. Not to say we're a perfect team, but I think we can be a good team. And I think hopefully he proves that from now to the end of the season. If he doesn't, then I think there'll be a conversation to be had at the end of the season for sure.
Yeah, and look, we'll have that conversation at the end of the season. And I do agree. I do agree with you to a certain extent, and I do agree that I would have, if it was up to me, I probably would have sacked him before that Brentford game, and maybe in any moment in the month leading up to that Brentford game as well. But now we won that, and we're kind of safe from relegation. I think it's completely fair to say keep him in the job till the end of the season, and then we'll assess it then.
And Jake Pertz, one with the last comment, says, Sim, here's my personal advice. You can go really far in YouTube as a content creator, but you need to branch off and make your own channel. I generally mean it. Ange in aside, you need to go solo. That's another comment. It's another comment. So I'm gonna start my own channel, and then you will have your channel with Brian, and that's how we're gonna go. We're gonna split off.
We Are Tottenham TV will be no more.
That'll be it. That's what the comments are saying.
So, I love the comments, man, because like a month ago people were telling
I need to go solo, man.
A month ago people were saying in the comments that Sim needs to leave the channel. Now people are saying that I need to leave the channel, and now people are saying Sim just needs to leave the channel and make his own channel. So yeah, brilliant stuff. I love
fantastic. All right, I'm running solo. Let's go.
Off you go then.
All right, I'll see you guys later. I'm off to start my own channel. It's going to be called We Are Ange in TV. And that's
he said Ange in aside. He doesn't even want to hear you speak about Ange.
He said Ange in aside. All right, we are level-headed TV.
We are level-headed.
Come on, let's go. Keep your heads level, people.
All right, and that is us reacting to the comments. Sim has gone, so you just got me now. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone for interacting with the channel for the past week. And everyone say farewell to Sim. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.